What is news? Stories, weather, traffic, gossip, what's trending? It can be all that. But it's also what is news to you. What impacts you locally is why you tune in, or not. What you're about to see is who we are, our purpose, our passion, and our process. How we listen to you and those in our community to give you what you want most. You'll see the people behind the scenes that you email and ask for help. The ones that will find a solution to what is going on in the Memphis community. You'll see how we find those solutions and sort through facts. The art of telling real Memphis stories that are current, but also respecting and understanding the history of who we are as Memphians.
Memphis is made up of great people. It's a community of great people. It's one of the reasons I chose to come here and work at ABC24 and CW30, because of the great people that we have in our community. One of the joys about working at ABC24 is that I get to work alongside some of the best people I've ever worked with in my career. In fact, you see them here on our wall of great people. And what you're about to see for the next 30 minutes is what those great people do every day. They're going to give you some insight into not only what they do, but why they do it, and how their service to this community is so important to them, and why it's at the foundation of who we are as ABC24.
Got a new news director into the newsroom a couple of years ago. Doesn't seem like that long, but then it does at the same time. Lots of things needed to happen to move us forward. Denisha came in, she saw so many things that she didn't even realize she'd be faced with when she walked into ABC24's newsroom, but she took the bull by the horns. She had the conversations that she needed to have. She talked to the people that could make a difference and make an impact and help us evolve and grow. And we've seen evidence of that, I believe, already in a matter of a year or so, or even months. It takes a real leader to do that and to have the courage to do that, but also have the stamina, because it's not over yet. We got a lot more to do, but she has great vision. She's able to make that vision a reality.
Memphis is who I am. It's what I bleed. It's what I bleed blue, I guess. I am a second generation Memphian from both sides of my family, my mom and my dad. Back in the 5th grade, I had the idea after doing the morning announcements that Oprah was going to retire at some point. And so I said, you know what? You know who's going to be the next Oprah? It's going to be me. And so as I made decisions through my matriculation through Memphis City schools, I decided to choose schools that put a lot of emphasis on broadcast. So I went to Overton High School, where I won the Outstanding Broadcast Student Award as a freshman in high school, which was not really something that a lot of freshmen got. And then I had an opportunity to work at the Telecommunications Center. Now, it was there that I discovered I'm not really great on camera. And I had a teacher who was like, okay, so you don't like being on TV, but I think you're still valuable to the industry. You're a pretty decent writer and you're kind of bossy. So why don't you consider being a producer? And so I looked into being a producer and really saw that it was the producers, it was the behind the scenes people that really got to shape and mold the newscast each and every day. So my journey really has taken me from Jonesboro, Arkansas, to a station here in Memphis for about 3 years. Had a chance to really learn what makes this market tick, what makes this market great. And at the time, I made a decision that I really wanted to join a company that, one, was going to invest in me, but two, was really invested in the communities that they serve. So they weren't just saying it, but they were actually doing it. And so I had an opportunity to meet someone via LinkedIn to talk about Tegna. They kind of shopped me around at some various stations, but it was Cleveland, Ohio, that really stood out. And at the time, the station's statement was see the possible. And it wasn't really about see the positivity in the news, but see the possibility of what our communities can be through the stories that we tell. And that has really helped me as I've been the leader here at ABC24. What sold me was really the opportunity to transform news as we know it, to create a newsroom and to lead a newsroom that is transformational. If you were to look at some of the other folks, you may walk around feeling like this is a pretty bad place to live and it may not be that safe, But our job as ABC24 is really putting the context behind those facts, right? Yes, there are certainly shootings that happen. Yes, there are car break-ins that are happening. But are they happening in your neighborhood? Where are they happening? What is being done to make this a better place? What is being done to solve these things, not just by the leaders in this community, they certainly need to be a part of that, but also the people, the everyday folks who are working to find those solutions. That's what makes us different, is it's not just about, hey, this happened, this happened, this happened. It really is about putting that into context of what this means for you, what this means for your family, whether it be your safety, your money, or even just the fun you may want to have in this community.
The biggest difference between us and the other television stations that you'll see in Memphis is that we're not just trying to grab views. We're not just trying to grab people's attention by any means necessary.
Too many of our competitors try to scare our viewers instead of inform them. I think people just want to be told the news without all the hype and without all the elements of fear that so much of our competition tries to work into their stories.
We care about representing this city the way that it really is. And it's not always blue flashing lights everywhere you go. It's not the most dangerous city in America as you might see from some headlines. It's actually a great place to live.
And I also don't think covering the crime blotter and rushing to every crime scene is an accurate reflection of what this city is. And some stations are really good at it, but that's just not who we are.
Every business, every organization needs to understand what they stand for. So much of what we are building is not based upon necessarily what we think our community needs, but what our community has told us they need.
The best way to get to know your community is to get out in your community. Thanks to COVID finally ending and things loosening up, we have lots more opportunities now to get out, shake hands again, hug people again, and really be a part of this community that we have adopted.
As we built those brand pillars, right, the brand pillars that we talk about, we built them with our viewers in mind, with our community in mind. We know that our community expects us to help them seek solutions to the problems that they face. We know that our community wants us to verify information, to be fact finders, to look for the truth and to help them find the truth.
As a meteorologist, basically everything I do is about being current. What is happening right now? What's the most current forecast to keep you and your family safe? Everything about weather and traffic and meteorology is all about being current. And that also transfers over into the newsroom. News and weather, it's all about what's happening right now and getting you the most updated information.
We put our community front and center, which is why we say we're Memphis lovers. And it means that you embrace everything about your community. You understand its strengths and you understand those things that need to get better. We understand that one of our principal roles is to hold the powerful accountable, right? And to seek the truth. And that's why we look at journalism as an essential part of our community. We have an incredible responsibility.
The decisions we make on stories or what I'm going to put into a story that maybe someone can relate to because I've been here for a long time and I understand some of the intricacies of Memphis and what's special about where we live. And so I always try to think about that when I'm writing a story to try to connect with the viewer at home.
All of the brand values that we talk about are really a reflection of our community.
It's a special place, and I think what I like most are the people. It's almost a cliche to say that, but it's true. They're different in the best kind of way. And to mingle with them and to take part in charity events with them or whatever it happens to be is truly rewarding.
For us to really do the work we want to do in our community and to truly connect with our community and ultimately to be part of making our community a better place to live, a better place to work, a better place to raise families, a better place to grow, we have to deliver on those brand values. People have to truly understand that we are out, right, seeking solutions on their behalf. That's our job. Everybody's job in this place is to live that brand every day as best we can.
Everyone has a different view of the weather.
Weather is the one thing that impacts all of us, regardless of where you live,
Mid-South weather is crazy. It's unpredictable. We get all kinds of things here.
Our meteorologists have mastered the art of giving you the information you need to know to make the best decisions for your family, for your safety.
Kids are mostly afraid of the weather. So they're not afraid of us. They like to see us because they're like, oh, you're on the news. But like trying to give them a different perspective of how weather is cool, fun, exciting, science is fun, is amazing. That's why I do the science experiments with them. I let them see like how clouds are formed. We try to do the tornado in a bottle. We do all these different things to show them that, hey, weather is fun, but it's also, kind of serious. And we also hit really hard on having a safety plan for your family. I can't tell you how many people are saying, hey, my kid watched your little weather program and now we have a safety plan on tornadoes. Like, where should we all go? What should we do? Because sometimes kids will go home and they'll be like, hey, mom, dad, what do we do when a tornado comes? And that's all it takes for the adult to take that action and make that change in their household.
We are the most accurate weather team in the Mid-South, and we continue to play a role in that and continue to be the best at it because we are.
For me, I like being able to connect with people in the community and try to make them safe. And that is a big part of what I do and the reason why I fell in love with the weather, because we're here to help you. We're not here to scare you. We're just like you. If we weren't on the news, we'd be at home in the same situation as you. How can we make that a comfortable situation for you?
Three, two, one. So I'm here in this big, wonderful, beautiful studio that we recently finished. And people ask me all the time, Chris, what's your most favorite part about this new studio? And my response is always, it's not the old studio. And with this studio came, of course, a lot of work. You can look around and you can see the care and the detail that we put into designing and having this studio built. So let's talk about some of that detail. This right here, this rustic truss really represents one of the things that Memphis is famous for. This represents our bridge. So this is one thing that we could nail down. And over here with the design up there, the crossbar and the support beam that's behind our signage, we figured that'd be something really good to incorporate in the studio to give the viewers a sense of community and their city and where they live, eat, work, play, and watch ABC24. We're also very conscious about the pride that Memphis has in its various communities, and that is represented over here on this wall. We've got all of the communities represented on this wall and other walls you couldn't see right now, but trust us, we didn't leave anyone out. We even got Coral Lake over there, and we've got Cordova, Hickory Hill, Millington's down here, you can see that, Germantown, Binghamton, Fraser, all of it. And when you check out this stone right here, a lot of our older homes are built out of this style of brick. Now, when you look around here, we just wanted everyone to be mindful, and we wanted it to be conveyed that this is a very Memphis-centric place. This is not just some run-of-the-mill presentation area, studio, cramped closet-looking thing. It's a very spacious, sprawling set so that we can put people in different positions to bring the best news possible and present it in the best way possible with set pieces and signage and different decorations that make people really feel like they're a part of the story and make this set really, really feel like Memphis.
Sports is interesting, right? We all love sports. We care about the end results of what happens. If you're a big fan, you want to know the ins and outs of what happened. But you no longer need local news to tell you that. You have a cell phone that immediately provides that information for you. You have beat writers that are constantly tweeting or putting it on Facebook or Instagram. So you don't really need the local news to do that. What you need us to do is to tell those stories.
Stories that truly impact the community and are based here in Memphis. Sure, we can tell stories from highlights and talking about dunks with the Grizzlies and everything, but actually ingraining ourselves in the community, finding these stories, developing the relationship where somebody can call you and say, hey, this just happened, this is a great story. That's what's important to us, is finding those community-based stories.
Because it's a human story, it's not a sports story. Yeah, it's built around this athlete. Yeah, it's built around these things that they've had to overcome. But that's a human experience. That's not just necessarily a sports experience.
These are the types of stories that you strive to tell. the stories that have a happy ending, but also you can tell something that is a remarkable accomplishment and something that, at the end of the day, you can celebrate with everybody. And Anna's story was worthy of celebrating.
My oncologist told me, we've never seen someone at your age on this harsh of a chemo protocol, be able to come back. I told them, you don't know me because I will be back.
Well, our station had done stories on Anna before, on her battle with cancer. And then, in the middle of March, the Christian Brothers SID, JT, called me and said, hey, I just want to let you know Anna's back and we're on the road, and she just scored her first goal.
I don't want to get emotional, but honestly, every game, my mom texts me saying, today is the day. Every day she just tells me to make a difference. So every day is the best day.
I think Anna deserves all the praise and all the attention that she can get for what she's gone through, and she's an inspiration for a lot of people. What she's gone through, battling and beating leukemia, then returning, that's a symbol that anything is possible despite some of the worst circumstances.
The stories that I really love doing are those stories in the neighborhoods. The neighborhood leaders who call me and say there's an illegal dumping issue, trash isn't being picked up. Maybe they're building a community garden, a community center. It's those kind of stories I love doing because every community has passionate people. And I love those stories of passionate people holding either people accountable or making their own neighborhoods better. Those are the stories I absolutely love covering. I thrive in those kind of stories. And it's those stories that we can really highlight Memphis, solution seeking, but also showing the passion and pride of those neighborhoods.
The town of Mason, Tennessee, located about 45 miles east of Memphis. This town of less than 1,000 residents sits about 5 miles from Blue Oval City, the $5.6 billion Ford truck assembly plant being built in Haywood County. Mason made national news earlier this year when the state comptroller's office urged residents to push for surrender of the town's charter because of years of fiscal mismanagement. But the town officials refused and accused the state of racism. Mason is perfectly positioned for an unprecedented economic boom, which makes the future of historic Mason a story worth watching.
I'm a digital content producer. I gather news online and write it on web and social platforms, and we saw releases from the state of Tennessee, the state comptroller's office, that said Mason had all of these financial problems and there were no steps to fix it. There's no end in sight for this debt that they have to pay off, so we have to come in and take control over their town. And I thought it was peculiar. And so that's when I really decided I wanted to go to the town, talk to the people there, and really figure out what is actually going on, why this happened in the first place, and what they had to say about it.
Oftentimes when we talk about people, we're saying, oh, non-officials. Well, the officials in Mason grew up in Mason. They're from Mason. They decided to be leaders in Mason because they care so much about that town. And so we got a chance to really learn from them and hear from them about how they were able to advocate for themselves.
It's a very real story about real people in a real town fighting back against a much larger entity than themselves. There were real problems in this town, and they are the first to admit that. They were in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, but they started taking more pride in themselves, started looking after each other.
Whatever they wanted, we complied with. They wanted the payment done, they wanted copies of it, we complied. So we do have everything in place for the cash reserve to be increased and be what we would need to rely on in the future.
I think what our coverage did was connect people in Memphis to this small town that was 45 minutes away that many of them probably hadn't heard of before, if not for the fact that they had the original Gus's Fried Chicken. It showed a window into something that was happening that could happen if you scale it up to any size town. I think since our story about Mason, there's been a lot of coverage in the area about what's happening in Brownsville, what's happening in Haywood County, specifically because of this Ford plant. And Ford itself has really taken a lot of care to reach out to those smaller communities, not just Memphis. I think before we talked about Mason, people were just talking about the big benefit this plant has to Memphis, but there are a lot of small towns that are really going to transform because of this place. And I think a lot of people started paying attention because of what we did.
I have been fortunate where I have had clients for years, and it's one of those things that I just don't lie to them. I just tell them the truth. I'll tell them when I make a mistake. I tell them when the company makes a mistake. I spend their money like it's my money. I want to make sure that what I do for them is actually working. And if it's not working, then I want the ability to be able to say, we need to change.
What matters most to us is relationships that we build with our clients. When we think about our team, our culture, it's all about doing the right things. What you do matters. What we do matters. People really care. They're giving their all. They're going the extra mile. They're not looking at their job titles, what they're supposed to do. They're doing whatever it takes to make a difference.
I've been in this community since 2001 when we moved here. I've been a coach in this community. I've been very ingrained, and I want to make sure when I walk in somewhere, I don't have to hold my head down. I really like people, and I want people to trust me. My integrity is huge to me.
How we treat our clients is the foundation of what continues the growth that we're trying to build. They really feel like they're a part of us because we're very open, honest, and truthful.
Cynthia I've known her for a long time, and that has very much helped trying to make sure that I can maneuver and manage, what I need to learn, and then taking that and getting clients to do business with us.
Here with the answers is Henry Reeves, the CEO of Reeves Law Firm.
Getting to meet Henry Reeves, I've seen him all over billboards, you know his commercials, you see him everywhere. Getting to know him and meeting him in person, wow, what a phenomenal, fantastic man that is. And what a great guy he is to want to give back to this Memphis community. And what he wants to do just from our conversation, it's an honor to even do business with him, much less even meet him in person.
Remember when I first started, plus years ago, no numbers included? I remember the camaraderie and the intention that was there. And throughout my years, I'm seeing that start again. What you do matters. How you act matters. All day, every day.
I had been looking to change stations and leave the competition for several months. The visual storyteller position at ABC24 kept popping up. I stepped out on faith and reached out to Denisha. Next thing I knew, I was here, and God confirmed it for me. I knew I was exactly where I needed to be when Roe versus Wade got overturned. And all of a sudden I could do stories that brought pregnancy crisis centers to the forefront, like Life Choices. I did a story on Life Choices, and then I did a story on several other nonprofits that help pregnant women. They help new mothers medically and financially and with food. I knew right then I was right where the Lord needed me to be. I did a story not too long ago that was really emotional for me. I even worked on my day off because I knew I wanted to shoot this. It was a couple of kids going fishing with their grandparents. I was a granddaddy's girl growing up, and one of our favorite things was to go fishing together. And I knew I wanted to shoot that story. So as he was pulling up, I thought, I gotta get a microphone on this kid. And so as soon as they pull up, I opened the door. I got a wireless lavalier on this child before his grandma even got him out of his car seat. And sure enough, as they were leaving the car and walking off towards the pond, he asked his little friend, "You can use my pole," his little cousin. And I thought, I think I'm rolling on that. I think I got that.
We can share this. Yeah, cool. You lead the way. You're the line leader of it. But I got my own kit. The fish will eat this.
This is a fishing rodeo at T.O. Fuller State Park.
I can see some fish.
Can you?
Mm-hmm.
You see them jumping up out there?
So you just throw it?
Nope. See, watch this.
We brought the grandkids out here just to spend some time with them.
See, it goes like that. It falls, okay?
Time for them to unplug and for us to unplug.
Hang on, buddy. Good.
Second grandson we have out here, he's been before, so he thinks he's a pro.
How many times you been fishing, Levi?
Like 1,000 times. If y'all stay quiet, then I'll get a fish. Okay. I want it.
There's no crying and fishing.
1, 2, 3. Hey, look at it. There it is.
Somebody got something. And it wasn't you.
ABC24 is different by leaps and bounds. People here are just calmer. Maybe it's the layout in there. I don't know, maybe it's Denisha. There's a dog walking around. I mean, it is wonderful. I love this place. I like the feel when I walk in to the newsroom. It's just a relaxing feeling, not a, oh, I need to go somewhere and hide. You know, I have felt that way in newsrooms, but not here.
I'm very honest about where we are as a station, but it's not just about where we are right now, it's about where we're headed. I'm very honest about the fact that it's going to be hard work, but it's well worth it. I'm really honest about the culture that we've spent a lot of time. This has not been an overnight sensation.
The expectation is now not to do it passively, but to do it on purpose, to plan for it, to think about it, to hire people who fit this specific philosophy that we have, which matches my personal philosophy as to how we should approach making television and how we should approach our brand values and our product.
It's really about listening to the team and making sure that everyone, from the editors to the anchors, from the producers to the reporters, really feel like they are making decisions that are helping to not only transform their own personal lives and their own professional lives, but transform what we're doing in the city. This really is a catalyst of where we could be as an industry, and I'm very excited and honest with the team about that. And I think they want to be a part of that change because so many of them have been in newsrooms or in situations where they didn't feel like they were heard or they felt like they were a part of that change. So I think that's part of the reason why people are saying, I want to come work for Denisha.
It's where we live, it's where we grow, it's where we love. We love our sports, we love our food, we love our town. M-E-M-P-H-I-S. On the block, we are Memphis. It's where we live, it's where we grow, it's where we love. We're the 901. M-E-M-P-H-I-S, M-M-E-M-P-H-I-S, M-E-M-P-H-I-S, M-M-E-M-P-H-I-S.